But you know when you just said that, this is because a lot of people live in spaces, but the spaces aren't living spaces.
Oh, yes. No, my space is living. What's the point? What's the point? Like, so with clients, I've had clients have and direct me to design some spaces around an event that they did once a year while their family lived in the house 365 days a year.
Right.
And the fights that I've had with people, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
I'm not going to make this a dedicated space that you use once a year. For what? It makes no sense. We could make it can have that use, but it doesn't need to be that dedicated use, because otherwise it's silly. And it's, people can be excessive with space, because what I try to do is show people, like, sometimes you have more than you need. If you're not using it, then you don't need it. What are you doing? So like, use this space. So one client, I remember, the space that she wanted to be her show space, which was the dining area that connected to the kitchen. I'm like, this should actually be your family, the place where your family gathers. 2 kids, and they had kids that's random. I'm like, they should use this room the most. And she was like, my family comes from all over, once a year, it's always at my house, and I need blah, blah, blah. I'm like, for once a year, and you want people who only visit you once a year to have an experience that your kids can really build with 365 days a year, with the friends who come over, who's doing homework with them, who are just like sitting around. And I did that. Actually, I found that the card, she sent me a card about 6 years later. So she did eventually let me do what I wanted to do. And she sent me a card. She says, I'm sitting here in this space that you've created for us, which is really, really beautiful. She says, the thing that's most striking, and what prompted me to write this to you, and she hand wrote a card in this digital age, hand wrote a card, put a stamp on it, and sent it to me in the mail. She says, I'm looking at my kids, who are now, at that point, they were 12 and 14, but they were like maybe 5 and 6. And she said, I'm looking at them in this space that you browbeat me into, using, she says, and it's worked the way you said it would work. She said, friends, she said, when my kids come home, the first thing they do, they sit in this place. Their friends come and they all sit here and they use this space, and this space is really about family, which is what I was thinking that one day a year would be about. But this is about family, and my kids have grown in this space, and they own this space, and whenever any sort of group activity, all of it happens right here every day. And she says, thank you. I'm like, that's what it's about. Yeah.
Beautiful. No, I mean, even the way just the plants, just the way found items, things that mean something to you, quite personal, historical connections. I mean, it's heritage. And also forward looking at the same time.
That's what I try to do. And you know what?